Hi folks, this is Miss Clarkson again, coming to you today to talk to you a little bit about how to demonstrate the work that you've done in the personal project process through the appendices to the project report. First off, an appendix is just a term for something extra. So it's a section of the report that's added onto the end that adds something to the main report. So in this case, there are two required appendices for the personal project, and those are the ones that we'll talk about today. As a reminder, you have three required parts of the personal project: the process journal, the product, and the reflection. The two required appendices to the reflection are where you're going to include your process journal extracts and evidence of having met your final product. So fundamentally, the written report is about showing your work along the way. Today, the required and optional appendices will help give you an opportunity to provide evidence of the approach to learning skills you've developed throughout the process you followed, the work you completed, and the sources of information that are in that final product. So in the reflection, you'll talk about skills in each section of the report, but you can also show the skills that you used throughout the process in extracts from your process journal. You may submit up to 10 pages of materials that represent your process and the skills you applied throughout that process. These might include some of the checkpoints that you completed on Canvas. It may include records of the work that you've done along the way. It may include process pictures or outlines, lists of materials, notes from interviews. It really depends on what your project is. Then you have your final product, which shows evidence that you have either met the criteria that you set for yourself or met the final goal that you hope to achieve. So don't worry too much about reading every word on this slide. You should come back to this slide when you're working on your report as a reminder. In the report, you're splitting things up based on parts of the process. So you can incorporate information from the sources that you've consulted in that report, but you may have additional information that you want to include later. In the first part of the project report, you're going to talk about research skills. Then you'll move on to talk about self-management skills. And finally, you'll talk about communication skills. You can use the personal project checklist that you received yesterday or earlier this week for more details. Appendix A is a required section of your process, of your final reflection. Appendix A consists of up to 10 pages of notes, evidence, photographs, or other material that shows your process. You can also include your checkpoints and anything else that shows the skills that you've used along the way. If you can include these digitally in your reflection, that's great. If you need to submit things in hard copy, we'll give you an envelope on the day that the project is due in order to do that. Appendix B is evidence of having met your final goal or achieved your final product. This may include links to videos of your final product, photos. It may include links to a website or a separate slides presentation. It may include data charts or a small written product, such as a piece of fiction or a research paper. If you can't include this information in your report, you will need to submit a physical copy of your product on February 18th, labeled carefully with your name. Finally, all reports include a works cited page, which documents the sources that are cited in the project, and can include a bibliography. A bibliography is appropriate when you do something like a research project, where the sources that you've consulted and incorporated into your final product are visible in that bibliography. You should absolutely use a citation tool like EasyBib or Noodle Tools to help you with this. So today, what you're going to be using is the personal project checklist that's on your paper handout, also included on Canvas, to help expand your report. On February 18th, you'll be turning in your project report, process journal extracts during record time. If you finish before then, you can begin uploading everything to ManageBack. Anything that needs to be turned in hard copy will be turned in on February 18th. When you share things like links to videos or Google Drive files, you need to make sure that those links are set to view only so that anyone who's trying to click on that link can view it. If you don't copy a shareable link, we won't be able to see it and you won't get credit for the work that you've done. So that's all for today. You have some time to work. As always, if you have any questions, you can come see Miss Clarkson in room 200. But all of these materials, PowerPoint, handouts are all visible on the Personal Project website, as well as the Canvas classroom. That's it for today. Good luck finishing your report.